everybody, and welcome to the inaugural episode. The Jones Girl presents Salt Shaker Conversations. My name is Kiara Jones, and I am the owner of the Jones Girl Inc. brand, and I'm also the owner of Couture Theater, a fashion production company where I tell stories through fashion. All right, I want my team to introduce themselves.
I am Crystal Jones Walton III. I am a minister and a biblical counselor, as well as a mental health professional. I have been married for over 11 years, and we are world travelers.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
GQ.
I am Dr. Carmen Jones Harris. I am also married and have 4 beautiful children, ages, don't judge me, ranging 20, 16, 15, and 5.
And she is the boss. She's
yes,
the boss.
yes. I am an elementary school principal and do a lot of other things, but you'll learn about that as we go along.
Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Edna Jones Miller. I am a wife. I've been married for 15 years, going on 16 in October. We've got 2 beautiful children, Jessica Robin and Jordan Rose. I am a higher education professional, so I absolutely love working with college students. I'm also a professional editor and a life coach.
Oh. You are such a hater.
Anyway,
stop it.
Anyway.
So now, Salt Shaker Conversations has a bit of history with us. So Dr. Carmen is going to share the history of Salt Shaker Conversations.
Since I'm the oldest, and you'll learn that in this group, and the wisest.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Okay, she'll be the one needing all that.
So and we debated over this 25 or to 30 years ago.
Yeah.
When we would go out to the
yeah.
restaurant, yes, we would go to the restaurant. And I would drive because at that point I was the only driver, and we would get to the table, and everybody wanted to share their story. It was about some boy, or it's about, somebody said something, or whatever the issue was, and we would over-talk each other. It's kind of like a family thing. You should come to the family gatherings. It's a hoot.
Yeah.
So what we established is that whoever has the salt shaker is the person that gets to talk. So the salt shaker gives me the right to talk because somebody likes to talk over, cut you off, take your story over and tell it. So the salt shaker, see,
Wait a minute.
Okay,
And
we're not gonna
granted,
talk
this
about
was 25 years ago,
25
and see
years
where
ago.
we are today.
Yes.
Still don't get the rules right, but that's okay. That's okay. Pepper don't got no power. I got to always say that. People try to pick up the pepper to get their injection in to say what they have to say and grab the pepper, but pepper don't have no power. It don't have no volume.
No.
Only the person with the salt can
Salt.
talk. Okay.
Yes.
So I do want to pose a question to us ladies, like how and when we look at the history of our relationship, how has our salt shaker conversations impacted our personal relationships with each other? Who wants to answer that?
I'll start.
Okay.
So I am a firm believer that the foundation of any relationship is really communication. And so for us, I think that is the foundation of our sisterhood, that we have been very consistent, and I'm going to use the word intentional about communicating with each other, about staying in touch. I mean, we're in different phases of our lives. This is my oldest sister, who is 7 years and 7 days older than I am. But imagine how important it is for communication for us to maintain that personal connection and that strong sisterhood and bond.
Okay. Who else?
Me.
Okay.
Me. So I kind of piggyback off of that and also say it's been a bridge because so much of our lives have taken different turns, but because we have been in different seasons of our lives throughout the 25 years, as she spoke, like even now we're in different states. Not different states, we're all in the same state, but different cities. And so it keeps us kind of abreast on each other's lives, and I think that's done most of the bridging. So I think most of Salt Shaker for me has been a bridge to keep me connected to where they are, how they are, where they're going, how they're doing as they're going. So I've appreciated it, and it has really impacted me because it's helped me to find sisterhood when I didn't naturally have it. And so we'll talk about that later.
So let's explain what she meant by that. So I think Dr. Carmen will give a good explanation, kind of like how the whole.
So we're birth sisters, the three of us. Crystal's our first cousin. So our moms are sisters. Our mom has passed on, but Crystal's mom and my mom were sisters. And so they both, I don't know how, who knows, married men with the last name of Jones. So we all have the last name of Jones, grew up as with the last name of Jones, but as first cousins. So, and Crystal stayed with us for an extended period. So it was just, we are sisters, and this is just how we are. So hence the Jones girls,
Right.
which
And
is where
those
that comes
Jones men were not related.
from.
Right. They were not related.
They were
Right.
not.
Right.
Like,
Her dad and my dad were.
we
were
should
not
do
related.
DNA things.
We should.
We
should.
But let's
That's
stay
a good
on
idea.
topic, because this is why, we
have
got
a
to have a
sauce.
play on
Okay.
topic.
Sorry.
Okay. So I wanted to say, because I think we're inviting you kind of into the sacred space of our world, hopefully that it will impact the way you can communicate with your family and your siblings and things like that. So I consider my siblings, and my brother's behind the camera, he's behind the camera actually producing the show. Hey Canton, hey, and Mona. So we're siblings, but we're best friends, right? And so we're each other's counsel, we're each other's sounding board. How did we get through the difficult times? How did we get through the moments of maybe not speaking, or how does that work? And I think it has a lot to do with our upbringing. And so for you parents out there, you might want to take get your paper and pen and take some notes from Clarence and Edna, because they had some wisdom when it came to raising a family and keeping their family together. Both of our parents have passed. Her dad passed away a couple years ago, so you understand that part. But I think our parents played a pivotal role in the culture of our relationships and how we communicate and how we get along. Does anybody want to kind of speak to that? Because I know we have the Jones girl story we got to tell. Got to tell that. So go ahead.
Go ahead.
You want me to tell it?
No, God.
Because you told me I talked too much.
just
and I tried to
notice
get
the
space.
salt veered this way.
All right. Well, then I will tell the
Yes.
story
Thank
of
you.
the Jones girl.
Yes.
And so it is I'm going to call it a mantra that my dad would always say to all of us, including Crystal, our sissy cousin, our sister. And so what it meant was you really had to pay attention to his voice intonation, because it had different meanings based on how he said it.
Yeah.
So let's say something really terrible happened at school. Somebody made us upset, stepped on your toe, and called you ugly. Okay. All right. So let's say that happened, and you go to Daddy, and you're like, Daddy, this happened, and I'm so sad, and I'm so hurt. And he'll say, oh, all right. Well, that's all right, because you're a Jones girl. So what that means was, that's okay. You can bounce back from that. You're beautiful. And he would, go into these wonderful things about who we are and encourage us. But his response was, it's okay, you're a Jones girl. But then on the flip side, if something wonderful happened, like just happened to me yesterday, I was just awarded an award in higher education. So if I were to call my dad today, as we said, he's gone on, but the response was, oh, you're a Jones girl. Almost as if to say, oh, I expect that from you. I knew that you would do that, because that's what you deserve, and that's just who you are. I mean, that's just what we do. And so that is the story of the Jones Girl, which is the brand that my sister has, the Jones Girl Inc., as a representation of greatness, of excellence, of this is who you are, and this is who you were born to be, and you're just great because you're a Jones girl. And so in our salt shaker conversations, we do invite you to use that as well, because we believe that anybody who is listening has either the potential to be a Jones girl, or you can join us too.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. You said that so beautifully.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So
Pay her.
I had to run up my tab. Listen. So, like I was saying, we grew up in a household. Our mother was, the diva of all mama was always dressed. She was always.
Look at Crystal.
This
Yes.
was what exactly what my mama looked like. Literally what my mama
Especially the hair.
Especially the hair.
But
Yes.
a little difference was she was more of a peacock. And I say peacock because her personality was a little more.
Oh, yeah.
As far as aesthetic, absolutely.
Yeah, like, you know, visually she looked like Crystal, and I was like, people would think that you her daughter and not necessarily us, because you look more like mom than you know we do. But you know, our mom was, you know, the PTA president, the chorus club, the cheerleading coach. She was the English teacher. And I didn't realize that until, you know, her funeral, actually. Just when they were reading off, I was like, golly, this lady did a lot of stuff. And it for her, because she did not she wasn't necessarily raised with the type of background, you know, a Christian family home and things like that. It was very important for her to create that atmosphere for her children. So we used to play these games when we were younger. So mama would find things, you know, because we wasn't allowed. You ain't going to the club. You couldn't go to the party.
And you ain't going to no sleepovers.
And you ain't going to no sleepovers and all that. Mama wasn't playing all that, okay? But instead of her always just saying no, she would replace it with something else. So our house was really the fun house where other people were allowed to come to. But we wasn't going over there. They could come over here, but you ain't going over there.
Which is a rule in my house for my girls.
So, but that was, you know, basically, you know, to keep you safe and things like that. And so Mama used to make up games. We had marble floors. Remember the marble floors? So, you know, in order for her, now she told us way later, when we were grown, that she did it so she can get the flow buffed. But she made it she made it into a game called butt races. Remember we used to butt race? And so we would get on the wall and feet on the wall, and then you got to scoop across the floor all the way. That's why. She told us that she was like, honey, I need my mama buffed. So that's horrible. Come on. But she made it into a game. We didn't know. So whoever got across first would get $1 or something. Or when she lost
buffing floors.
For buffing the floor. So because she made it into a game. Or then she was like, all right, well, race from this point over here. Okay, who can get across the floor? And we scooting. I'm talking about we scooting. Yeah. And we just, we going
and
through.
The boys.
And we going. And mama told her, like, child, I needed my flows buffed. I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, child, it was easier to do it that way than the child. But it was like genius of her involving her kids, giving us something to do. You know, and mama was a seamstress too, on top of all the other stuff. So she used to have clients, and she would sew, and she would lose her straight pin, so she would go on a straight pin hunt, and they would hide them and wait till it was time. But yes, because she would pay you for finding the pins. And so she give everybody a cup, and then you go and you find the pins. And so Danye's the youngest, and I'm calling her Danye. We say Edna. So you'll hear us use the nicknames interchangeably, because that's kind of how that run around here. Okay, so I'm Kiki. This is Frissom, and this is Lissa, and this is Danye. So you'll hear us use those names interchangeably, but Danye is the youngest out of the three of us, and so she used to find things and put it on the side of Daddy's bed all the time. She would just pick things up.
You know what? Now that we're in front of the world, I need to confess. I've been bothered. She would take stuff. And then charge you.
No, she would wait until mama offered money to find it.
Yes.
Now she would never take it. She would find it. Like she would actually find it. It wasn't like she would go and take it though.
And if you needed to borrow money.
Wait a minute.
Wait, let her explain.
In my defense, excuse me, about the finding things.
Not taking.
Being the youngest of 5 children is an adventure. Let's say it that way. To this day, if there is a bowl in my house that's missing a top, it's going in the garbage. If there's a pen that's missing a top, it's going in the garbage. You know why? Because these people kept up with nothing. If the sock is missing the match, where is it going? In the garbage. Because these people kept up with nothing. So I felt as though I was doing my due diligence to keep up with these things. because these people kept up with nothing. That is in my defense. Thank you.
But she was strategic enough to wait until Mama didn't start looking for. Because if it was out of place, she would go and get it and put it on the side of Daddy bed. So that's what we figured. Because Daddy would keep all his little stuff.
Just an observation. Both of their names is Edna. The buffing floor is Edna.
Yep.
The
And then
pen keeping Edna.
she's named after
And
Mama.
we
Both
are very
innovative
different.
that way.
Even though
I'm
I'm
catching
named
it.
after my mom.
Catching
We are
Yes.
very
So
different.
she's named after Mom. She's
I'm
named
named
after
after
Aunt, who is
My
her
mom.
mom, and I'm named after my grandmother. Right. So Mama kind of just spread our names out, and she
And
named
Carmen's
after Mama.
daughter is named after her.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep. And then
we
so
all just share
kinda
names
into
and
just
swap.
Just change.
My
and
oldest daughter is named
after me.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Right.
so we kind of got this whole thing.
And today, some of our family members found out that I was the older
Oh,
sister
my
and was
gosh.
disappointed, but that's okay.
That's all right.
I'm getting
That's
over it.
all
I'm
right.
getting
That's
over it.
all right. That's all right. That's all right. But that's all right. But it was a joy, like growing up with sisters and best friends and people that you can talk to, and so we wanted to broaden the community, to give you all an opportunity to watch and maybe involve yourselves in the conversations that we're going to be having, because we want to talk about relationships. All of us, well, they're married. I'm the only one single, but I'm divorced, which is a different type of single than the first type of single. So we got to talk about all of that and how we navigate and how we stay out of the pea field dating pool. They say, they say the dating pool got pee in it.
Oh man, wait a minute.
Wait. I ain't never went swimming in it. Now this the first time y'all hear it. So I ain't never went swimming in it. But that's the thing. They say the dating pool got pee in it.
But no chlorine.
No chlorine, honey. It's just it's just the still water. Yeah, it's just the still water. So we got to we got to talk about all these things. We have to talk about how we process grief, because we've seen families fall apart once a family member passes away. How do you keep it together? How do you help bear one another's burdens through the process? We're going to be talking about that. We, all of us are ministers in the gospel as well. And I know she listed hers, mentioned it, but all of us are preachers, and yes,
I communicate God's word.
Yes. I don't call myself. Let's just say the Lord is good.
Yes.
How about that?
everybody up here preaches or teaches.
Okay.
I can go with
in ministry. Okay,
Yes.
let's just say that.
Yes.
We do something in ministry where we are to communicate the word of God.
I think she has something to say.
I'm be quiet. Be quiet.
What?
The two ordained ones to be pastors
That's what I'm
over
saying.
here saying they are not. I'm just gonna say that.
That's what I'm saying. Now, let me tell the story about
I
that.
don't have no papers.
Yes, you do.
Ain't nobody gave me papers. I ain't got no papers.
Oh, well.
I've been signed, sealed, and I've accepted salvation.
Well,
and that's as far as I go.
You have been called.
She got
You
papers.
have been called.
Yes, you are correct.
She
I
got
am
paper.
an ordained minister.
Yes.
That I am.
Yes.
Yes.
So, we can't run from that part. So
Yes.
I think too, how do we communicate the faith? How do we communicate scripture in this world? How do
real
we
time.
communicate that in real time? Like, what does that look like? We're going to be discussing that. So we want you guys to join us every week as we discuss these things and really get into it. And we want to hear your comments. Like, what do you want to hear about? What are the questions that you have? Because we have like Bible studies and things that we all conduct and things like that. And we do a lot of counseling. And you will be amazed at what people just don't know and that we consider to be everyday wisdom. Like,
I'll say this: a lot of which, as you talk about the everyday wisdom, our mom taught us so much. And you didn't realize. My mom had a high school diploma and went back after having 5 children to get her degree. She started going back to school because one of my aunts, my uncle had passed away, and they needed something to do. And that's what she did. She went back to school and she ended up getting a bachelor's degree, becoming a teacher.
And it took her 8 years to do it.
8 years, because you know, in pieces with children. But when you talk about nuggets of wisdom and truth, she's passed on, but I still can hear her voice saying, remember we said don't do this, or remember we said this is the best way. You asked the question about how has it impacted our life and upbringing. From childhood, I think about how it has impacted me as a parent, as I'm parenting my children. A lot of the things that she taught us and did, I do those things with my children. The individualism, I don't say to them, you're a Jones girl, right? Because my kids aren't Jones girls. That came from dad. I don't create that space. But I do tell them, you got this, right? Like, oh, that's how I think. You know, you got this. Different little things that really shape us as an adult. I try to do those with the kid. Now the baby...
As we all look down.
Boss. I call her boss.
She's
baby.
about... about 3 feet tall, so she's really small, really petite for a 5-year-old, but has the personality of our mother. So it's just very fiery, very strong. So I'm still working on that. I'm trying to shape that. So y'all pray for me out there. Those of you that pray, call my name out, because I need it. Between my age and her age, I just need.
One time I called you, and Christina was home, and Christina's in college, and she was helping Christina with a college paper at one time, and then the baby was saying that she was doing her homework at the other table, helping her trace letters. And I say, Lord, how is this your life?
Wow.
You helping one at one end of the table with a paper, and then the other one is at the other end of the table tracing her letters.
2 types of tuition.
Yeah.
College tuition
In preschool.
Daycare.
Daycare.
Yeah, 2 types.
Yeah. But she's a joy.
She is. We named her Joy.
Yeah,
we named her Joy.
She's a joy.
Yes.
She's a joy. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be kind of doing this season. We would love for you to join us. If you have any questions or any topics that you want us to cover, we would love for you to comment in the comment section, and we are going to see how we can cover those things.
Yeah.
We were talking yesterday about some advice. Now, some of this stuff we can't say on camera, because some of the wisdom that we got from our mother, you know, if you take it around, I was telling myself, I said, man, Mama gave me some of the best advice with this right here, but I don't want none of y'all to end up in jail. So we gonna not say that.
It wasn't illegal.
It wasn't illegal.
Okay.
But if somebody take it too far, so okay, now I'm gonna say, okay, you take it too far, you know. Mama would say, you know, because today, you know, this day you folks a little different. So
Big time.
Mama used to, I'm gonna say it, but y'all, when we would proceed with caution. So my mom grew up in the hood, all right. Mom would she was a little tomboy. She would run and play, or whatever.
I saw her beat up 10 cheerleaders.
Yes, like she just by herself, just manhandling people, but mom very strong like that. So, when raising girls, I realize now, kind of like as after she's gone, that there was something very intentional about how she wanted her girls to be, because it's like, I don't want nobody taking advantage of my girls. I don't want nobody, y'all got to be strong. You got to be able to handle, whatever. So we started getting into dating ages. And so mom gives me some advice. Now, I'm not going to use all the words that the preacher used. But she said, don't you ever run from no dude. So she said, don't you ever let nobody see you sweating. Because Daddy used to always say, don't let the enemy see you sweat or whatever. And so she said, because these men, sometimes they be stalking. And they want to show all up, and they all in the bushes. She said, oh, no, one of them. Show up to their job, be laying in the back of the car. Oh, you want to see me? Okay. So I don't want y'all to do that. But when I tell you,
I think the bigger principle is.
But and I will say that there was a balance. to that approach
With our
because
father.
my dad was much more calm, soft-spoken at times,
And he would
and a
come
little more
behind her.
level-headed
And he would come behind her.
in many ways. So let's start there.
So
you
there
know,
was a balance. Yes.
Yes.
So I was like, I didn't want to
yes.
just outright give because I don't want y'all out there laying up in folks' cars.
However, we do have this generation stalker-ish tendencies,
Which
and
we gonna
will
talk about.
Talk about that in another
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
I call it
But-
keeping up with weirdos.
So, Mama was just big on
Yeah.
us being strong women.
Yes.
And being able to take care of yourself and being able to handle certain things. And Daddy was a lot more. And I was just telling a friend of mine the other day, I said, man, I can count on one hand. Now, I don't think this is a good thing now, so don't take this as a good thing. I was like, I can count on one hand how many times I saw my mom cry in my life. I count on one hand. I would have fingers left. Daddy, I would run out of fingers, toes. Daddy cried all the time. When I tell you, all the time.
okay.
And that's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with
That's
that.
all right.
But he was, you know what I'm saying? So I think we were talking about, just ideas of masculinity and all of that stuff. So we're going to talk about that in detail
Yes.
because of our upbringing and what I was, saw as sensitive or things like that. And my dad was extremely sensitive, but he was very manly.
Right.
And so we didn't have that whole, thing in the house, but
Remember at the funeral?
So no, wait. Wait, no, let me tell this one. Wait, so Dad, I just told you, my father was extremely sensitive. He would cry and he would feel his
Just
emotions.
loved everybody.
He loved
just
everybody.
loved
And so he had
did.
gotten word that one of his high school friends that he hadn't seen since high school
Don't do that. I don't like your
passed
content.
away.
Don't do that. Just say the post.
So wait, I'm
Don't
just
do
saying.
it like that.
And so Daddy shows up to the funeral.
right.
Wait, Daddy graduated from high school in 1975.
1975.
Okay, 75.
So here we are,
Y'all not right.
20 years later. Daddy hadn't seen this person, had not spoken to this person in over 20 years.
not
And so
co-signing.
Daddy gets to the funeral, and so he's sitting toward the back. And Mama says, he is inconsolable. She said,
I'm not.
she said, he cried so that the family started to turn around. Like, who is this? So, they're like, who is this?
Man, because the funeral home wanted to bring him up.
Yeah, but he was so, just,
Yeah, so they were like,
just like, who
and then-
is
so they-
this?
The funeral home is asking, is that a relative?
No, but-
we don't know this
This
man.
time we don't know this man. The mama said, Lord.
No.
She talking about, Lord, I was so ashamed.
No.
I had to tell my, come on, Clarence, come on. So she had to get him and carry him out only to get him out the door to see the sign that he was in the room.
No, we didn't. No, that ain't. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Which tells you, even when he viewed the body, you couldn't even tell after you viewed the body.
Talking about it had been that long since he saw this
She saw the
person.
man.
So that kind of give you a little context.
All I got to say is grief
Yes.
shows up in many forms.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we came up with here. So our upbringing is probably a little different. But we got a minute left, and we're going to sign off. But we want you guys to join us weekly
Oh my
for
God.
Salt Shaker Conversations. This is going to be a fun ride. It's going to
Yes.
be engaging, and share it with a friend. We love y'all. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
Wait.